Wool pellets are a popular and environmentally friendly slug repellent, but do they live up to the hype? Watch as I conduct two experiments that deliver some unexpected results. In the second experiment, I'll surround 3 lettuce leaves with a 10 centimeter barrier of wet wool pellets, as per the instructions, and see how impassable they are relative to a control group. But before I test their impassability, I want to see if they have any repellent effect at all by observing whether they primarily go down a soil pathway or a woolen pellet pathway. These are the slug pellets I'll be using for this experiment, and there's a link to them in the description below where you can get a great deal on them. Testing in this manner is much better than most experiments I've seen on YouTube, where only a few slugs or snails are encircled by a barrier, with no other option but to cross it. Slug will crawl over salt and die if it has no other options, so these experiments don't really tell you anything. Additionally, this allows us to compare the results with other identical tests I've done with copper, eggshells, coffee, and other popular control methods, which helps us build a picture of what works best. In future videos, once I've finished testing the most popular slug barriers individually, I'll test the effective ones against each other and try to find out which barrier is the most impassable. I don't expect any barrier to fully keep slugs and snails out, except for one that would kill them, like a saltwater filled slug stand. However, even if slugs and snails can cross a barrier and destroy your plants sometimes, it doesn't make the barrier useless. Reducing damage to plants by 10, 50, or 90% still has value, and using a combination of effective, albeit imperfect barriers can still be a good idea. So if you'd like to follow my research and experiments, click subscribe, turn on notifications, and don't let your plants and seedlings get eaten any longer. As you can see, the wool pellets did very well, with slugs only leaving the slug stand via the earth pathway, except for one that went down the slide, and a few that slipped into the water and had to be rescued, but we don't count those. So a promising first experiment from wool. It's looking to be one of the best products out there, and I'm not surprised, as when I previously did a 6-way barrier test, it was one of the best performing barriers. So if you do consider purchasing some wool pellets, there's a link in the description below to where you can buy some from. And clicking that link will mean a few pennies will be diverted from the world's richest man to me, which I think's fair as I spend time making these videos and I'm not even in the top 10 of the world's richest men. So this footage is now of the second experiment, and usually after 12 hours there's not a lot of lettuce left. So the wall barrier gets off to a really good start overall, better than I expected, with only one large slug making it over the wall, and many failed attempts. If you watch or re-watch closely, many slugs or snails have a touch of the wall then divert their course away. It's somewhat unknown how long wool will stay effective for, as it definitely breaks down over time. However, some positives are that it can be used in potted plants and for plants that are directly in the ground. It contains no plastic and makes use of a waste product that does break down naturally, and it also doesn't kill anything, unlike pellets or most traps. I then decided to carry on the experiment through the following day and night, and after 36 hours there was still some lettuce left, albeit not very much. Overall it worked really well, and I'm looking forward to comparing it to other barriers in the future and see how it ranks. So if you want to try it out yourself, there's a link below, and if you want to learn how to protect your plants better, start watching the videos in my channel.